Howdy, folks. Rebecca Jolly from Jolly Alchemy here again to do a transit report for the 5th of July, 2025. It's a Saturday. So, we've been through a rather exciting evening because for slightly over 3 hours last night, we transitioned through the juxtaposition cross of provocation. Woo! So, a deeply provocative slice of humanity, but a very tiny slice of humanity. So most people have tension or upheaval or individualism, obscuration, something that's related to that provocation saddle, but isn't so purely provocative as these cross of provocations that are. Um, they're here to stir things up. We think of it as a difficult energy, but we need that. When you've had a politician in Congress for decades and decades, we know those people aren't stirring anything up. Things need to be stirred up so they can be changed, so they can be improved. So these are very important people. But if they don't understand the nature of their energy and their business on the planet, then they can get bogged down because all of their top four gates are individuals. So that means they're mutative, but also deeply melancholic. And they have to get a grip on what's that melancholy doing for them. If they allow other people to say, oh, you're feeling melancholy because of this or that, then they're going to get bogged down in it, they're going to get lost in it, and they're going to be deeply unhappy people. But if they understand, oh, okay, I'm feeling melancholy, it's just a wave, it's just like PMS, there doesn't need to be any judgment, there doesn't need to be any reason, it's a chemical thing. I just need to be alone and be creative in these times when I'm feeling melancholic. Then they can actually gain power over their provocation. However, that doesn't happen that often. And these are pretty rare people anyway. But if you happen to be listening to me and you are the cross of provocation, go ahead and send me a line. I'd love to talk to you. I might even give you a free reading. So, moving on to it. Sorry. Where was I? Focus, transit, yes. So, Saturday, individualism. This is an interesting cross because Ra says these people are so individual that they cannot be influenced by others. So, it's their individuality, their insistence, their refusal of being influenced by others that creates the provocation for others. Very interesting. But of course, anyone who has the 38 and the 39 in their chart, just like this, is going to be aurically provocative. So anyone who meets them is going to sense on some level that that's a provocative person, even if they happen to be, like this person is, very sweet, diplomatic, whatever. People are going to sense that there's something difficult about them, and a lot of times shy away from that energy without even knowing consciously what's going on. So that's part of what makes it difficult to be born on one of these provocation saddle crosses. So, anyway, today we're in line 5. So today, I somehow got confused yesterday, but yeah, today we're on line 5. Today is the most mature aspect of this configuration in the hexagram. It's line 5. So on 39.5, we have single-mindedness, the ability not to overcome but to bypass obstacles. And in the earth, line 5, alienation through fighting alone. I have a little niece who has this exact line of 38 and 39 as her nodes. So that will be for her outlook. She will look at the world, and it's her job to look at the world and see, not only in her own life, but also in everyone else's, the ability not to overcome, but to bypass obstacles through fighting alone. She's also a juxtaposition cross, so it's a very powerful kind of configuration that she has, but she's still quite young, so we're watching it develop and feeling a little bit sorry for her parents, I must say, but hey, they chose that path. Anyway, our moon is starting off at 8 o'clock this morning in 44.4. Sincerity, leadership with sincerity and impartiality. How nice. Oh, before I forget, because we moved into the cross of individuality, I thought the good song, and this came up right in the beginning of me writing into the transit in my journal. Extraordinary Machine by Fiona Apple, but it's very individualistic as a song, and I thought, there it is. Sometimes the song doesn't come through until the end of my writing, but this was the very first song that I played, and that the AI brought up for me on the playlist. Very interesting how that works. Anyway, yes, the other interesting thing, Venus has moved into Gate 20, Line 1. That's shallowness that accepts slogans. Okay, so here we are on the 5th, but I looked it up, and 20, Line 1, this shallowness that accepts slogans, and there's more to it because it does have an exaltation. But anyway, this started actually yesterday, right around 8 p.m. So, just as we were all reaching the height of our nationalistic, patriotic fervor, we moved into this line of this gate of a little bit of a shallowness and accepting shallow slogans, which I think is particularly ironic for the 4th of July because while I think it's a good thing to have tribal feelings and whatnot, I do think that patriotism, especially American patriotism, is slightly overblown at this state of our development. So the idea that the transit is clearly stating that we are at this time accepting shallowness and light slogans for ourselves is, I think, pretty appropriate. Rah, rah, America. But everybody's cool. Everybody has great things about their country or their region. So, yeah. Anyway, I thought that was very interesting. The exaltation on this, or the light side of this, if you want to say, it's just a range. So there's no judgment. There's just one end of it and the other end of it. And at this point, we're leaning towards the end of it that's called the light or the exaltation, the upper limit, say. And that is the awareness in the now, which only considers urgent and current aspects, raising superficiality to an art form. And isn't that exactly what we have when we're doing all these fireworks? I thought that was great. Just great. So, that's it in the changes for what we have in the people's influences, but we do have a shift in the global energy from 52 line 2 in Jupiter into line 3, which is external forces condemned to an action by uncontrollable forces. So there's going to be a little bit of a feeling of moving from the naturally still to the experimentally still, I guess you could say. And that's in the world. And also 8-6 on Uranus has moved from the exaltation just into regular, just back to into the whole entire range of the 8-6, which is kind of an interesting thing for me. I wonder, how is it that the same line and the same gate in the same planet can shift in and out of exaltation? Sometimes I wish Ra was still alive so we could ask these questions. Or that someone who did know these questions was actually telling people the answers to these questions. And I know it's minutia, but I have an attention to detail gate as well as a channel of explanation, and so I would really like to pay attention to that detail so that I can explain it to you. So if somebody knows, let me know and I'll explain it to everyone else. So basically what's happened there, it's a nuance. You're never going to feel it. But because we're looking at the numbers, and that's what today is about, it's moving from the exaltation just to regular harmonious timing of creative contributions. It's quite a nice line, actually. So that's today, Saturday. Come on back on Sunday for another installation, and I will see you. Bye.